I'm Reverend Kohal, the pastor of the Lenox Road Baptist Church, and I want to welcome all of you here this evening or this afternoon. You know, as a faith leader, the scriptures mean a lot to us. And 1 Peter 3 verse 9 tells us, do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for this is what we were all called to do. And indeed, to this place, this time, this group, we were called. Gun violence in our country and in our city and in our state is at a crisis level. And we are called not to repay evil with evil, but to bring joy and to bring hope and to bring resources and to solve this problem from the ground up. That's the strategy Governor Cuomo outlined last week. And that's the strategy that he, in partnership with our legislative leaders and the next mayor of our city, are here implementing this afternoon. So it is my honor as pastor to host this gathering. And let me just put a plug. This is my 25th year of pastoring this church this week. So it is a joy to host you and to start this conversation. And it is my calling to be of assistance today and going forward as we work together to solve this crisis. Please welcome the Governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you very much. And let me thank the Reverend, first of all, for his hospitality. We just had a great, very productive meeting. Let's give the Reverend a big round of applause. I don't know how Reverend Kohal could have done 25 years when he's only 29 years old, but I want to thank him very much. We have Senator Zellner Myrie, Assembly Member Diana Richardson, and Assembly Member Latrice Walker, who have done a fantastic job in organizing today, and you'll hear from them in a moment. Let's give them a round of applause. And Pastor Gil Monrose, who runs what's called the God Squad, which I'm sure you've heard of, which is a network of faith-based organizations that talk about doing the Lord's work and taking the words of the Scripture and putting it into action. He embodies that, and he has literally saved thousands of lives with his partners. Let's give them a round of applause. We spoke about gun violence earlier with Eric Adams, and we spoke about a different response for the city, and we spoke about how complex the issue is. It deals with reforming the relationship between the police and the community, where the community trusts the police, respects the police, and vice versa. The police respects the community. That's a part of it that has to be worked on. It's education and educational equity, and making sure the schools in the poorer communities in New York City get the same services, the same level of education as the richer districts. So there's no doubt there's multiple prongs. But one of the most important strategies is to get young people before the fact. Get young people before the fact, before they enter the pipeline of the system. Because once they're in the system, that pipeline only leads to one place. And we've seen it for too long, for too many years, with too many lost generations. Once that first arrest, that first record happens, then you are on the slippery slope. How do you do that? There is no bill that I can sign that would do that. There is no bill that the president can sign that can do that. The only way you can do that is community by community, where you develop the network and the infrastructure in that community to provide the support services. They know who's likely to get into trouble. They know who is getting into trouble. And they need the ability to, at that time, reach that person and stop the cycle before it even starts. Well, how do you do that? That's hard. That's hard. When we can just sign a bill that's easy. When we can just say one initiative, that's easy. That's not going to work here. It's not going to work. It is empowering the groups that have been doing this for years with no recognition and with no resources, and institutionalizing them so they have more capacity to do what they do, because what they do works. We just need more of it. And we have to acknowledge it, and we have to give them the tools and the resources to do their job. This is the first community in the state that we are reaching out to. I can tell you the expertise is here. The intelligence is here. The willingness is here. And now, with this initiative, the resources will be here. I'm excited about the possibility. I believe the product of today will be that we save young lives. And that benefits all New Yorkers. And that's what we have to remember. I want to thank them all very much for being here. And let me turn it over now to Senator Zellner Myrie. Senator Myrie.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is no coincidence that we are in a house of worship. I want to welcome everyone to Lenox Road Baptist Church. We will not be here if it were not for Reverend Kohal opening up his door, so we want to publicly thank you for that and for what the church does in this community. This issue is not about politics. This isn't about photo ops. This isn't about a press release. This isn't even about all the cameras that are here. This is about the people of our community.
Amen.
The grieving mothers, the families that can't sleep at night, our children that have been lost to bullets day after day after day after day. The scriptures tell us that we should be prepared in season and out of season. And for too long, it has been a season of violence in Brooklyn. But as the day turns to the night, so too will this season of violence become a season of peace. But it requires all hands on deck. So I'm grateful to have the governor's resources and his power behind stopping violence. I'm grateful for all of the people standing on this stage with us. We are dedicated to ending gun violence in our generation. We can do it. I believe we can. I know we can. And together, we will. So I thank all of you, and I look forward to us making this a reality. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, I want to be in the morning. I'm Assemblywoman Diana Richardson. I represent the mighty 43rd Assembly District, which is Crown Heights, Prospect, Lefferts Gardens, and East Flatbush here in central Brooklyn. Anyone would tell you that I stand 10 toes down every day, very unapologetic and unafraid. And that when I'm speaking, I only speak what is the truth.
Amen.
We are very, very, very happy here this morning to be standing in solidarity with our Cure Violence groups, as well as our clergy leaders from across this county, in partnership with Governor Cuomo and other community leaders. For far too long, we have been in pain. For far too long, our community has been just hemorrhaging, calling out for help. And we are grateful that there's finally now a disaster declared and that the governor is here, boots to the ground, with real substantive solutions, employment, jobs, as well as other resources to really not just make a big headline, but bring action to the ground to the people who are literally dying for all of our assistance and attention. I want to highlight all of the violence interrupters that are standing behind me, as well as the hospital responders that are standing behind me, as well as the clergy who is standing behind me, that are the first responders to gun violence every single day. And I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to all of you very publicly, because while others run, when the shots are fired, they run too. while we are reading our newspapers or looking at the TV, disgruntled or mumbling, they are the ones that are consoling the families. They are the ones that are trying to restore unity back in the community that is traumatized. So, look, today is all about solutions. I'm grateful. I don't know if I'm rambling or not, but I hope that you understand that this has to be a very substantive initiative, and I encourage everyone to track it. I encourage everyone to track it. We are going to make real change. Central Brooklyn is going to be the model that will lead the rest of the world to show them how community, how clergy, and how elected officials can come together to be solution-oriented around the challenges that we have. So we say thank you to you, Governor Cuomo. We extend a strong partnership to you. Let's get this done.
Thank you.
So again, good afternoon, everyone. The governor spoke to us today about hot spots within Central Brooklyn. Many of those communities we either live in ourselves or we have one foot in one district and one zip code and one foot in the other. And we saw the mastery by which he addressed a public health crisis when we were undergoing and under siege by COVID-19. And so we have been living with a public health crisis for many, many years, for many, many decades. And I want to take the opportunity to applaud our governor for recognizing or supporting some of the things that we've known all along, that gun violence is a public health crisis, and that the only way to maintain it and to be able to put a stop to it is by acknowledging the crisis management systems that have been put in place by which to address it. And they're not called crisis management systems for no reason, because this is a system. Some that happens that requires prevention. Sometimes we may need to handle an emergency situation. And then also some of the after effects after this deadly virus, which we know of as gun violence, has taken a hold of our communities and our families. For far too long, we have said to people, telling people no, but we have never given them anything to say yes to. And so today, we've learned and are working with the governor on some yes opportunities. That the vaccine that we need in order to address the pandemic of gun violence in our community are employment opportunities, housing opportunities, and educational opportunities, and services for our families. And so this is a proud moment. I am proud to stand with my colleagues, with members of the community, with members of the clergy, as well as with our governor and all of the respective agencies across the state of New York to say that we are finally going to do something about this. And so, Governor Cuomo, I look forward to seeing your daily, or if not, your frequent updates to us with respect to how this initiative is going, where we are with respect to the gun violence, how many incidences of gun violence are taking place on a particular day, and what it is as a state that we're going to do about it. So congratulations and thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You get the benediction.
Good afternoon, and thank you all again for having us here. We are in a real important moment in our communities. We have been saying for a long time to get not only the governor but the nation to pay attention to what was happening in Central Brooklyn. And so for many years, myself and all of the leaders of the God Squad, the clergy, was working without the funding, without the recognition. And I really want to thank again Governor Cuomo for coming to this place, this sacred ground, to release and launch what we are going to call something historic of biblical proportion, where we have faith that moves mountain. And so we're grateful. We have such great leaders in Central Brooklyn that if history would be kind enough, they would say that, yes, we had mighty, not only the 43rd, but mighty Central Brooklyn. Look, these great leaders who is here with us today, and we're so grateful to them. Every single person standing behind me is actually in front of me, in the sense that they push us forward with the work that we're doing. And so we are very, again, grateful. Where did the governor go? He's right there. Governor, we want to thank you so much. Don't go too far now. You're in Central Brooklyn. We want to thank you so much for being up to the challenge, coming to Brooklyn to really put his stake of his governorship on us. And so we're going to take this task. We're going to run with it. And I think that we're going to definitely see a brighter tomorrow in Central Brooklyn. God bless everyone, and God bless Brooklyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
A couple of questions for any of my colleagues. You heard from me. Anything?
For Senator Myrie and, Assemblywoman Richardson, just 4 months ago, you released a statement about the Attorney General's probe into the governor over sexual harassment allegations, saying that he's not entitled to remain in the most powerful office in the state when by his words and actions he has irreparably damaged his trustworthiness and ability to lead, while the rest of us twist in the wind awaiting new and more disturbing allegations. So can you address why you're here with him today, given that statement?
I'm here today with the governor because politics is politics, business is business. And at the end of the day, we have a job to do to show up for the people of the great state of New York. With all due respect, ma'am, that question is inappropriate for the topic of this press conference. As you have heard eloquently put from my partners as well as the governor, we are in a state of emergency. This is not the time for us to be in our emotions and people's personal endeavors. This is a time for us to be solution-oriented and focused. And what I just said is the statement that Senator Myrie agrees with as well. Next question. Next question. And please, let me just say to the press that is in the room, if you are going to ask questions here today, please remain on topic, because we are talking about communities that are in pain. We are talking about gunshots that are ringing, and we want to remain on topic. We want to remain solution-oriented. We don't want divisive questions, all right, that is going to take us off of the solution that we need to focus that is at hand. Let me ask next.
All right. We're gonna take one more question. Questions can be dangerous. One more question, Marsha Kramer.
Governor, first of all, I would like to know the details of the program that you're announcing, but also, this seems to me that it's sort of a ringing indictment of the current mayor of the city of New York, because this gun violence has been going on for over a year. And every one of us in this room, whether you're on the stage or right here, has done stories or has talked to people who have been victims of gun violence, and there's been no solution. So the question is, why has the city failed to address it, and how will your program make it better?
All right, let me say this. I think what you're hearing from the state legislators and from all of us, this is a national problem. It is a problem in every city in the state. Inspired by Assemblymember Richardson, I don't want to get into political conversations or divisive conversations. Suffice it to say, yes, it has been going on a long time. Yes, it has been going on for too long. Yes, it has gotten worse recently and is now recognized nationally. Yes, the numbers have gotten worse. And the state has taken the first and precedential step of declaring an emergency in terms of gun violence. The state only declares emergencies up until today, normally for natural disasters, floods, hurricanes, COVID, health emergencies, Ebola. This is an emergency. This is life and death like COVID. This is an epidemic like COVID. This does require a concerted, direct effort like COVID. And that's why you see the state here on the ground, which is the first of its kind ever, as far as we can find out, where the state took a direct role in the community. And the reason we're doing that is because the state declared it an emergency, and I consider it an emergency, and I'm proud of it. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. What the meeting is doing, the details we'll have in the press release, but there are three main clusters of opportunities. Number one is employment opportunities. We have summer youth jobs for 15 to 24, which are people who are in school but need a summer job. We then have permanent jobs that are trained jobs to real careers. These are not just minimum wage, first-tier jobs. These are trained jobs for tradesmen, carpenters, bakers, electricians, done through what's called the Consortium for Worker Employment. That's the first piece is jobs. Second piece is community-based services, mental health services, family crisis center, wraparound services. And the third piece is violence interrupters, anti-violence activity, anti-violence groups connected with hospitals and doing street outreach programs. And the reason we have to get back to work is we're now doing breakout sessions on each of those three groups, three areas to put together networks on the ground to provide those cluster of services. Thank you very much.
Thank you.